A few years ago, I began noticing low-flying planes over my town. They flew in tight formation with their front lights on. Since the nearest airport is 25 kilometers away, and these looked like small luxury passenger jets, my first thought was that they might be smugglers or Secret Service aircraft. Then I saw something that seemed important. One night, a passenger plane was flying low over a city park, climbing sharply from the lowlands at a near vertical angle, about 80 degrees, straight up into the sky. The park was also around 25 kilometers away from the airport. As someone who enjoys military aviation, I was stunned, not only because the plane was just 50 to 100 meters above the ground, but because no aircraft of that type should be able to climb at such an angle. The sight was so strange that, despite the rain, I got in my car and drove off to get a closer look. Eventually, I began to suspect that this was some sort of a visual camouflage for a UFO, some advanced technology that we don't understand yet. I shared my observations only with a few people that I trusted, just so people would not think that I was crazy. This summer, I learned that planes are now constantly flying over my city, both day and night, in different locations. When I mention it, most people say something like, "The airport changed its flight routes, so they pass over us now." Fine, but it still feels strange. Around the same time, my internet connection began cutting out, losing packets and dropping for 5 to 10 minutes every hour. My ISP claimed that there was no problems, even after I replaced my router. Then I noticed something. The outages always happened when I heard the roar of a plane overhead. When the plane was directly above, the connection vanished. As soon as it passed, the internet came back. That made me wonder if the planes were somehow causing it. I searched online and found only one related idea: that newer aircraft with onboard antennas for in-flight Wi-Fi can interfere with wireless internet signals. While I was reading this, another plane flew over and my connection instantly dropped. This time, I was sure it was a strong electromagnetic disturbance, especially since my internet cable is buried a meter underground. Curious, I searched fake planes and found reports matching my experiences. There is even a small group of UFO researchers and conspiracy theorists who believe that these are actually UFOs disguised as planes, using advanced engines that sound similar to drones. So, I have to ask, have you ever seen anything like this, and what is your take on it? I have always found this topic fascinating. There are so many reports of UFO sightings and strange incidents connected to them that I can't dismiss the idea that something is really behind these rumors. If one of these planes flies overhead again, can you photograph it? And, this might sound odd, but I believe one of these planes has already been photographed with an infrared camera. Supposedly, the pilots detected strange lights and objects in the sky through their long-range camera, but saw nothing unusual with their own eyes. Don't let it go. Gather more evidence. If you can, record a video next time. These aircraft look completely normal, but you can check online radar services. They do not appear at all. I haven't even told you half of what I've learned about these UFOs. There is simply too much. For now, I want to hear opinions from others. You should collect as much evidence as possible. Take notes, snap photos, document that they are missing from radar. Do the research, because once you have solid proof, no one can dismiss your claims without checking for themselves. There is already plenty of material out there. Some of it is even on YouTube, but most people aren't interested in UFOs that look like ordinary planes, even if they have no identification markings. The people close to me trust me, but this kind of encounter is not the sort of shocking revelation you want to share widely. Still, these things are all around in large numbers. The goal is to prove that they are not just planes. Record radar data when the skies are empty of regular flights, then compare it to radar when these ghost planes appear. Capture infrared footage, show them flying at impossible angles. You need proof, real, undeniable proof. As for me, I am too tied to social expectations. If I sat outside with an infrared camera scanning for UFOs, it would destroy what little social life I have left. The problem is, These objects are 98% identical to ordinary aircraft. They just show up in the wrong place at the wrong time. I have my own theory, one I believe in completely, but it is deeply unpopular. These UFOs disguise themselves as civilian airplanes, which is why they don't resemble flying saucers or massive alien ships. A lot of what appears in the video, in the link that you shared, looks ordinary, at least at first glance. Sure, some of the objects are flying unusually low, and for a moment they emit a strange glow, but that could be explained. Some parts, though, are harder to dismiss. What really caught my eye was a bird flying backwards, but maybe the footage was just reversed. Then there was a plane with a big red ball. At first, it seemed normal enough. It's possible the red glow was just sunlight hitting the camera lens. The same helicopter in the shot looked unsteady in the air, as if it was not flying smoothly. But then things get stranger. Planes with an unnatural red tint, some looking oddly transparent, others wrapped in a glow that is too intense to ignore. A plane with only one wing, another flying at an impossible angle, one that tilts its leading edge downward, a single-engine plane whose stabilizer vanishes after passing through clouds, a plane climbing straight up, a red plane, and finally, a plane that simply disappears. This stuff is real. Still, these videos cannot serve as solid proof that the planes are flying low or changing shape, at least not without clear footage of their surface structure. And why call them UFOs at all? If the planes are fake, maybe they are not planes at all. Maybe they are illusions or holograms. Most of the aircraft in the footage are ordinary flycraft models, yet they leave behind chemical trails, which is intriguing. But why project holograms of passenger planes? Maybe because they also produce a low hum, just like older aircraft, a sound that most people expect from a plane. And if people are indifferent to obvious, undisguised UFOs, then the image of an airplane is the perfect camouflage. It's just a guess. Since learning about this phenomenon, I have watched the skies more closely, and now I seem to see these planes everywhere. One day, I was sitting in a cafe, talking about it with a guy who laughed at me. I suggested we count every plane flying overhead. In 1 hour, we counted 20. He stopped laughing. That night, the planes flew even lower. The good news, my internet problems disappeared. I'm not a ufologist, but I've read that UFO activity spikes during wars and major conflicts. Maybe the important people are gathering information about us. Who knows? This is strange. If UFOs can disguise themselves as airplanes, then it's fair to assume they could do even more. I live in Serbia. Honestly, I'm less interested in what they can do than in why they do it. Maybe they're filming a reality show about us for Orion TV. Imagine if we had the technology to disguise our own spaceships as alien craft and travel across the galaxy to observe other civilizations. Picture a NASA livestream titled "Alien Life from Planet Blah Blah Blah" for everyone to see. And then someone would say, let's capture one of them, study it, but don't let them know how much we have figured out. Then, when we finally communicate, we will have a better chance of not scaring them. People are awful, but it's a good science fiction plot, and maybe that's exactly the kind of situation that we are in now. I like the story. Keep sharing more if you have it. This thread fascinates me. My grandfather once told me that while serving on a destroyer in the Pacific during World War II, he saw a huge, metal cigar-shaped object emerge from the ocean just a few miles away. It hovered for a moment, then shot into the sky so fast you could not track it with your own eyes. He and the other sailors decided they would just report it to the captain and let him handle it. No one treated it seriously. It was written off as one of those weird things that happen at sea. I am sure there is a report about it somewhere, buried in Washington. I'm glad no one here outright denies what I've said. When I was a kid, I believed in aliens simply because they were on TV. But as I got older and dug into online material, I started to doubt, and eventually, UFO stories made me laugh. That was until recently, when a friend and I were talking about life. I said that life must exist somewhere in the universe. The odds are too good. Then I paused and said, but isn't it incredible that we have never actually made contact? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that not all UFO reports can be fake. Aliens must exist. It's like how humans treat rats. We move them, experiment on them, and they have no idea what is going on. Aliens could be doing the same thing to us. Their intelligence might be so far beyond ours that we cannot even begin to understand their motives. Abductions and strange phenomena could just be the byproducts of their technology. Who knows? Maybe someday they will find a way to talk to us, and we will finally understand what they are doing. After accepting that we are likely under constant UFO surveillance, I came across a man who had done extensive research using infrared, red, and blue filters. Some of the things he documented matched what I had seen myself, like odd, geometric clouds, or sharp-edged, radar-invisible planes. Once, I was sitting at a cafe with my mother when a massive cloud, shaped exactly like a mothership, drifted overhead. My mother, a manager who works with government securities and bonds, Serbia is eerily similar to Terry Gilliam's film, Brazil, in that respect. Noticed my unease and why I was acting so tense. I told her about all of the nonsense I have to endure working for this backward government, and added that even aliens seem to be toying with us. She just said, let them do their job and we will do ours. From that moment, I decided to keep doing my work, whether they are around or not. The truth is, the situation scares me, but there is nothing that we can do to change it. I once lived alone in a historic, Victorian-style neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio. I don't scare easy, and I don't say that to sound tough. I just really don't scare easy. I take showers in the dark because it is more relaxing, for example. My wife thinks that is fucking weird. Anyway, I lived in a duplex, a one-time large house converted into 4 separate apartments. I lived in one of the upper apartments. Jumping ahead to what actually happened now. There was an old lady that lived very close by, in a house that shared the same parking as I. She was a really nice lady. Often, I would help her bring her groceries in, give her rides to her daughter's house, stuff like that. I would even help her fix things around her house. Every time that this lady would ask me for my help, she would call me on my cell phone. I gave her my number when I first met her, and told her, if you ever need any help, ever, just call me, and I will be right over. She would call me almost daily, and it never bugged me one bit. She was a sweet lady, and I was more than happy to help. Jumping ahead here. It had been 3 days in a row that I had not heard from or seen her. I got very concerned, because I would see her every single day, sitting on her porch and drinking coffee. I shrugged it off at first, and thought to myself, when I come home from work, I'm going to call the police if she does not answer her door. So, I come home from work, I step into my apartment and drop my things on the counter. I put my jacket away, pop open a beer, and that is when I hear somewhat of a ruckus outside. I step outside just as I see a police cruiser and another blackish vehicle parked in front of this lady's house. I pause for a moment. Then I see them carrying her body, wrapped in a white sheet, from the upper floor of her house. My chest tightened, and I started to sob uncontrollably. And this is where the creepiness begins. That evening, I am sitting on my terrace, outside, that faces this lady's house. I am just having a beer, just relaxing really. I didn't really before this, but I glanced over toward her house, specifically at the door where her body was carried out. This exact instant of locking eye contact on this door, I see the curtain in the window closest to the door start to move. I instantly get the coldest shivers up my spine. It does not stop there. In the next few moments, I am scared to death and relieved. I get a call on my phone. It's the lady's number on my caller ID. What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? I answer. Hello? A pause. I hear somebody breathing. Thank you. a female's voice says. It is her daughter. She is at the house helping clean up the mess left behind in result of this woman's death. She was thanking me because she knew how much and how often I cared for her mom. Eventually, I was able to retrieve my balls from my throat and realize that the dead woman was not trolling me. But, for those 10 seconds or so, I was petrified. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. Be me. COVID lockdown 2020, in a big city, about 3 million inhabitants. Got work safe passage for one day for an important meeting in the office. Multinational care partnership. They notified me online, but the safe conduct was sent by ordinary mail. Got the pass, left it in the passenger seat, and drive through the highway city tunnel. 7:40 a.m. Not a single car within 10 kilometers. Only one direction with 3 to 4 lanes, so makes sense. I go through this route daily, so keep going. Big soft tunnel curve seems to take longer than ever. Keep driving. Same bright signs heading in the correct direction. Keep driving. I know that I was traveling way more than usual, but there is no exit and the tunnel just keeps turning left. Confused. Drive for 15 minutes more, then stop the car in the ditch and use the warning car triangle. Try to use the cell phone, but it doesn't have coverage, which isn't normal. Got out and head to one of those distress yellow phones. Push the intercom button. Nothing happens. Maybe broken. Walk to the next. Broken too. Worried.jpg. Try 2 more. None works. I lost sight of my car in the curve, but I turn around and go back to it. It was there. My passage isn't there. I'm just scared. Start driving again. I know that the signs leads to my home direction, not to work. Keep driving and finally see an exit from the tunnel. I don't care which. Return home through the city streets. Maps and GPS work normally. Saw the clock when I entered my house. 1:14 p.m. This is the only weird experience I ever had, though retrospectively, I'm more confused than spooked. Be me around a year ago. Moved to different city for studies. One day on my walk back from classes, decide to walk instead of using the bus. Large street, loads of people and shops. There's even a McDonald's. Keep walking. Notice a little olive green, old European architecture shop. At least it looked like a shop from the outside. There was no name or anything on the outside. Just a little circle with a dot inside as a logo above the entrance door. What is this? The windows just had some puppets with no clothes on them. I figured it's some modern clothing brand or something. Decide to go in. Nobody is inside. There's just unclothed dolls. A little confused, I ask, is this a shop? Hear footsteps. Man dressed in all black walks in from a back passage. He looks almost as surprised to see me as I am to see him. You're not supposed to be here. Oh, okay. I leave the store/shop, whatever you want to call it. Next day, I take the same route. After eating at McDonald's, head home. The olive green shop is no longer there. It's now a cafe with people sitting there, chatting. I feel surreal about everything. To this day, I don't know what it was. It's as if my memory is completely false. Never had any similar lapses before or after, and I'm 100% certain that it's the exact same location, since it's literally in a main street. I've got one that happened to me. Be me, night before last. Having another dream where I'm in high school. See shadow person in photo, get freaked out. Fucker looks like the Hat Man. Somehow caught him on camera. Show picture to my classmate. She's had a similar experience, and it freaked her the hell out. Of course it's the fucking Hat Man, she says. Somewhat became aware I'm dreaming, but can't control it. Dream does that thing where it jumps to a different location/time. Now in church my dad pastored when we lived in Texas. He's in the fucking church. He's there, in the background. watching me. Setting jumps again to my house. He's there, in my parents' room, looking directly at me. Thoroughly freaked out, start to think he's hunting me. Setting jumps again, back in school. Watching a recording of one of my dad's sermons on YouTube, on the whiteboard for some reason. Hat Man is standing in the choir in the recording, staring dead at me like that one scene from It. Feel impending sense of doom, like I'm about to die. Look away from recording. There he is, in the classroom. Wake up with my heart pounding at 5 a.m. Sense of impending doom still there. I was genuinely freaked out by what happened that night. I did not have another dream about him, but dear God, that had me worried that I was being hunted in my dream. Elementary school. Sleepover with best friend. First time at her house. She tells me that I'm not allowed to go into one room. It's right before the bathroom. She says her grandfather stays there and does not like being woken up at night. She also says that after the lights go off, I'm not allowed to leave her room. Lol, whatever. I will be sleeping anyway. But I wake up, actually having to pay. Try to wake up my friend so she can go with me. She does not wake up. Fuck it, go on my own. I accidentally open her grandfather's door. Grandmother is still awake, sitting in her rocker. I apologize. Go to bathroom, relieve my bladder, then head back to room. But I get stopped by grandmother in the kitchen. You really should not be out here. Go back to room, feeling weird about this. Wake up friend. Tell her what happened. Her grandmother has been dead for years. The porcelain dolls that line her room were from her grandmother's collection. Feel like they're all looking at me. Noping out pretty hard. Never spent the night again. Dad was a bad alcoholic when I was a kid. Made home life hectic and violent. He stopped drinking overnight. Life slowly became more normal. We started going to church. I did not believe that shit, and one day, Dad sat me down and told me why he quit drinking. Says he showed up from work a little drunk one day. Had a bad argument with my mom. He said fuck this and left for the bar. As he's driving, he sees an old man walking alongside the road. Dad figures he'll give him a ride into town. Pulls up beside the old man. Man looks right at Dad. The old man's face is a mirror image of Dad's, only older, and the eyes look blank. The man is already moving towards the passenger door. Begins tugging at the handle, door was locked, and huffing like a fucking animal. Dad peels out and speeds off. In his rear view, he sees the old man crawl into the brush on the side of the road. Dad told me he believed it was a demon. Looking into the man's eyes made him momentarily dizzy. Not my story, but my older cousin's story he told me a couple years back. While not the scariest of stories, it still gives me shivers to think back on. If interested, my aunt also has some stories she told me about that house that I could tell. Anyways, let's call my cousin Sam. Be Sam, roughly 12 or 13 years old. Parents are in the military and move often, and got stationed in Michigan for about 2 years or so. Moved into old house that previous owner's daughter died in. Can't remember how. Parents knew, but never told Sam or his younger brother. Share a large room with brother. Weird room with a large built-in bookcase that sections off the room in two, and a small glass ceiling above Sam's bed. Keep having reoccurring dream every couple of nights the entire time living in the house. In dream, Sam is laying in bed at night, and it is raining hard with heavy lightning. Eventually, a shadowy figure appears, staring down at him from the glass ceiling, only visible with each lightning strike, and as he is about to get out of bed, the window breaks, and the figure darts straight for him as he wakes up. Probably just childish imagination, but his second story was the one that spooked me a little more. Sam again, same age. Home alone playing video games in living room. Gets strange feeling, like someone is watching him. Dog who is normally super quiet, starts uncontrollably crying and trying to lead Sam to the front door. Sam then goes to lead dog to door, leading to garage to get leash. Dog starts whining even more and refuses to follow him in and keeps trying to lead him to the front door. Eventually, Sam, who is creeped out, decides to leave the leash and just heads out front door with dog and heads to small grassy property just across the road in view of house. While he was sitting in field with dog, He sees a shadowy figure walk in front of the living room window. Sam stays in field until parents get home a couple hours later. Out camping/hunting in remote Canada. Historic native reserve land full of volcanoes and spiritual locations. Secluded, many miles wide gated area that very few have access to. Extremely remote, middle of nowhere in mountains in between no-name gas station towns. I've been trusted with a key by an elder/caretaker. I am not a native. Long story how I got access. Anyway, I'm camping with my girlfriend and her friend. We're way the fuck out there. Nobody else for 100 kilometers or more. Access gate locked behind us. 3 of us sleeping in the back of my pickup beside river. Around 4 a.m., we all wake up to a nearby house. Sounds like talking. I shush the 2 girls and contemplate going into truck and getting shotgun. Listen more intently. There are 2 male voices very close by. They are arguing loudly over the noise of the rapid river water, yelling at each other in a language I could not recognize. Sounds like intense, rage-fueled fighting. We all hear it. Situation is tense. Suddenly silence. Just river noise now. Girls are fucking terrified. Go into truck, grab the gun. Stayed up scared for a couple hours until sun rose. Look around for evidence of another vehicle, people, anything. Can't find it. Leave immediately. Access road gate still locked. Later on I tell the story to the aforementioned caretaker. Tells me I should stay away from that particular river camp. Why? Men are buried there. I thought he was just fucking with me at first, but I later returned to that area, and in the nearby woods, I was able to find numerous wooden plaques nailed to trees. They were old and rotten, but a few were recent enough to still have legible writing in faded white paint on them. There were names and dates written on those plaques. I have not gone back since. Didn't happen to me, but friends told me what they witnessed. Father, 2 juvenile children, and wife. Father was an alcoholic. Kids sitting in the living room watching TV or something. Dad was out in garage doing something as usual. Mother sleeping. Was around 12 p.m. House was locked up for the night. Suddenly, Father walks in from the kitchen to the living room. Kids freak out because they did not see him walk through the entrance door. He's just standing, looking at them. Kids notice something is not right with him. His eyes looked like that of cat eyes. Kids freaked out and frozen from shock. He turns around and walks back into kitchen. They follow him shortly after. Not in the kitchen. Checked everywhere, but not in the house at all. Go look for him, and found he had hung himself in garage.